opinions and views expressed in the following program are those of the speakers and the host, and do not necessarily reflect those of Yoakley Scott Corporation and your sports network.
Yeah, I've been closer to Jesus before, so can you help me out? Oh, can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? But can you help me out? Am I on my own? Am I on my own? Or can you help me out? Can you help me out? I've been scared to look in my soul. I've been afraid I would follow the road. Yeah, afraid of the things I've been told.
And hello, everybody. Welcome inside a brand new week and a brand new month of Running Point on ysnlive.com. This is Monday, July 1st. We are officially in July, and we are brought to you, as always, in July, like every other month, by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. You'll put them in the top right-hand corner right there, so you know where to go if you're in the market for a new or used vehicle. Make sure to check out Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. They go the extra mile for you. We try to do the same here on this show every single day. Gonna have a good show. Gonna kick off July the right way. We're gonna start it all with the recap of Class B action. We're not gonna let that go. So we do every day. The regular season is winding down, as this week is dedicated to makeups. And I think by the weekend we'll be in Class B playoffs. So let's get right to it. A full weekend. We go back to Saturday, and we see what went down. We're going to start with 18U action. And on Saturday, June 29th, we start off with the first game of the day, and it was Creekside taking down Dirt Edge 16-6. So we look at the box score of this one. Creekside up 1-0 after 1-2 runs, I should say, in the second, 3-1 lead after 2. Pretty back and forth, 1 run each in the third, scoreless in the fourth. But like we've seen with a lot of games in this Class B season, if you get past the starter or start to crack a little bit of the armor late in the games, we've seen a lot of late game scoring. And that's what happens here. 8 combined runs in the fifth, with 5 for Creekside, 3 for Dirt Edge. Creekside has 2 more in the 6th, 5 more in the 7th, and they eventually win 16-6. 16 runs on 14 hits. No errors for Creekside. 6 runs, 9 hits, no errors for Dirt Edge. So a clean baseball game defensively, with no errors recorded either way. Creekside hitters, they had a fun day, I would say so myself. And they had, look at that RBI total. It might be the highest we've seen all summer from John Husband. 4 for 5 and 6 RBI. 1 run scored. That's a monster day at the plate for him. They had 3 RBIs from Maddox Yost. He went 2 for 3. You had an RBI from a couple of other players. Tyler Skeen gets 1. He was 2 for 4. Frank Sinadak, he's had a good summer. He gets an RBI, 1 for 3, 3 runs scored and a walk. You had an RBI from Aiden Crocker, who went 1 for 4 with a walk and 2 runs scored. And then an RBI from the bottom there, you see, we're last but not least, Evan Julock, who went hitless, but did have an RBI and 2 runs scored. Pitching for Creekside, it was Brant Barolaro, who got the win. 4 2/3 inning, gave up 4 runs, 7 hits, and struck out 4. Dirt Edge's offense tried to spark a little bit, but this could not answer the 5-run inning in the 5th. RBIs from Tanner Stricko, who went 2 for 3 Also an RBI from Blake Jeffries, who went 1 for 4. An RBI day for Nathan McGanahan, who went 1 for 2 with a walk and a run scored. And that was it for the RBI. Oh no, Andrew Porto got one too. Can't forget about him, 1 for 2 on the day. They did have a multiple hit and a perfect day at the plate from Drew Cockler, who went 2 for 2 with 2 runs scored. But Creekside gets the big 10-run victory on Saturday, 16-6. We move on to the next one, the Athletics 18U team. No problems with Eagleware, 10-2, the final score here. Athletics scoring 5 in the first and then adding on more as the game went on. 1 more in the second, 1 more in the fifth, 3 more in the sixth. That equals 10. If you're good at math, 10 runs, 9 hits, 2 errors for Athletics, 2 runs, 5 hits, 6 errors. For Eagleware, the Athletics offense, they got more big hits from CJ Frasco. No shocker there. He went 2 for 3 with an RBI. Alex Salema went 2 for 4 with an RBI. RBI day from Cody Bungert and Jake Shoemate. They both had an RBI. Bungert went 1 for 2 with 2 runs, and Shoemate went 2 for 3 on the day with an RBI. Evan Tice with 2 RBIs, situational hitting. And then Caleb Satterfield also with an RBI. 1 for 2, 2 runs scored, and a walk. Pitching on the day for Athletics was Connor Brogan. He got the win. 5 innings pitched, just 1 earned run, 4 hits, 7 strikeouts for Mr. Brogan. We go to the next game. It is the 3B Barons against the Avalanche. And the Barons keep on winning. We're going to see them and what kind of hot streak they're on when we go into the standings in a little bit because they had a big weekend. They win 10-4 over the Avalanche. Scoreless after 1, but in a 2-0 lead for the Barons after 2, and a 3-0 lead after 2.5. But then the Barons in the bottom of the third score 4. They take the 1-run lead. It's tied up after 4. I'm sorry, I had those two mixed up. Barons were up 3-0. Avalanche take the lead 4-3. Barons tie up the game and then just keep tacking on. 2 in the 5th, 3 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th. 10-4 the win. 10 runs, 11 hits, 3 errors for the Barons. 4 runs, 7 hits, 4 errors for Avalanche. The Barons got 3 RBIs from Callan Durbin, who went 3 for 4 on the day. They had a pair of RBI as well from Joey Campoli. An RBI day from Nick Parado, who went 1 for 3 with a walk and a run scored. They also had RBIs at the bottom there from Ben Miller and Jimmy Rowe, both getting RBI on the day. For Avalanche, their hitting got a big boost from Carter DeJulia, who has had a good summer. He went 1 for 2 with 2 RBI. He had an RBI on a 2-hit day for Drew Golt. No shocker there. He's good at baseball, if you don't know. He also had a run scored. And then an RBI from Jack Strausser as well. Those were the RBIs on the day for the Avalanche. When we look at pitching for the Barons, getting the win was Campoli. He went 3 innings, gave up no earned runs, 1 hit, 1 strikeout. DeJulio picks up the loss for the Avalanche. Only gave up 4 earned runs on 4 hits, struck out 1, walked 1 as well. Next game on the list, we have the Ballistic against Nightline, and this one was a barn burner, 9-8. Nightline is the one that comes out on top. We'll look at the scoring and how it went down. Tied at 2 after 2. Ballistic scores 4 in the third to take a 6-3 lead after 3. But then it was Nightline's turn with 3 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, 2 in the sixth. Just enough to edge out that 9-8 win. 9 runs, 12 hits, no errors for Nightline. Ballistic had 8 runs on 8 hits, also no errors. So a really clean defensive day for both teams. You had a big day at the plate for Nightline. I'm looking at Ballistics first. We already look at Nightlines first. Big day at the plate from a couple of different players for Nightline. Taggart Carfangio went 2 for 4 with 2 RBI on the day and a run scored. You had Austin Biggin with 2 for 4 day, 2 RBI. And then 2 RBI day from Nate Freeland, who went 1 for 3 with a walk. They also scattered RBIs from Nolan Dar. Mike Skivnicki got an RBI and a 1 for 2 day with 2 walks. Trying to see if I'm not missing anyone. Those are the RBIs for the day. The win went to Carfangia, who went 3 2/3. Did give up the 4 earned runs on 5 hits. Didn't strike out anybody, but did to rust his defense to not make an error, and they did not make one all day. We go to ballistic hitting, 3 RBI on a 1 for 2 day for Boyd Karutz. A 1 RBI day from Gabe Rusnak, who went 1 for 2 with a walk. RBI from Todd Jones and a run scored. And also an RBI from Danny Peterson, who went 1 for 1 with 2 walks, 2 runs scored. He was not retired on the day once. Nightline gets that edge victory, though. 9-8, the final score. Last but not least, an 18U for Saturday. The Astro Falcons take care of Prospects 18-1. A lot of offense in this one and good pitching for the Astro Falcons. 5-0 after 1, 2 in the second, 6 in the third, 5 in the fifth. The run rule victory 18-1. They had 4 RBIs from Grayson Hooks. You had a pair of RBIs from Leon McElroy and a pair from Andres Hermans. He went 2 for 4 with 2 runs scored. You had 2 RBIs on 2 walks for Ari Fox with 2 runs scored as well. Dawson Wallace got the win on the mound. 5 innings pitched, gave up no earned runs, 2 hits, and 2 strikeouts. Those 2 hits for Prospects came from Hunter Stacy. He had a 1 for 2 day. And then Trainer Janasco went 1 for 3. So those were the 2 hits on the day for Prospects. That does it for 18U's Saturday, but they had a busy Sunday as well. They had makeup games to get done. 8 games on Sunday. Let's go look at those. So these are the Sunday games. As you can see, 3 makeup games that had to take place. And Dura Edge made the most of their makeup game as they get the win over the Astro Falcons 12-6. A big upset for Dura Edge. They had 5 runs in the 4th after trailing 2-0. 2 more in the 5th. 5 more in the 6th. There was an offensive onslaught. 12 runs, 16 hits, 1 error for Dura Edge. Astro Falcons had 6 runs, 7 hits, and a very rare 4 errors for Astro Falcons. 3 RBI day on for Dura Edge from Jacob Rind, who went 3 for 4 on the day. They also had 2 RBIs from Ethan Fiesel, who went 2 for 3. 3 separate RBIs from the trio of Parker Dobson, Andrew Porto, and Eddie Dolansky. They all had RBIs. Porto and Dolansky had 2 hits on the day. It's a big offensive juggernaut. 9 runs driven in out of the 12 runs they scored. For the Astro Falcons, they had an RBI from Hooks, who had a big day on Saturday. They had an RBI from Leon McElroy, 2 RBIs from Rowan Urbach, 1 RBI apiece from Jay Rona and AJ Verdi, 2 for 3 for Verdi, and 2 for 4 for Rona. Dura Edge on the mound, it was Ronnie Trimble Jr. They got the win. 5 innings pitched, just gave up the 3 earned runs, 4 hits, only struck out 1. That is a theme mostly for the Astro Falcons. They don't strike out a ton, but it didn't bother Dura Edge. They get the 6-run victory. I'd have to go through the whole schedule, but I think that's the biggest loss the Astro Falcons have suffered all year as far as run differential goes. Next one is Athletics and Prospects, And the Prospects get the shutout victory 4-0, a pitcher's duel in this one. We saw a lot of offense so far in this recap, but this one went to the pitchers. Prospects with 1 in the 3rd, 1 in the 4th, 2 in the 7th, and they have 4 runs on 6 hits, no errors. Athletics, no runs on 4 hits, 3 errors. When we look at what did the job for prospects offensively, it was a big 2 RBI day from Ethan Powell, who went 2 for 3 on the day. 1 RBI from Landon Turner as well. They had 3 RBI on the day. But the big story for them was their pitching, and it was Mason Naraki who got the win. 7 innings, no runs, 4 hits, and a big 7 strikeouts as well. CJ Frasco got a hit for Athletics. So did Alex Salima. Tyler Wardle got a hit. You had a hit from Gavin Falgren, who went 1 for 2 on the day with a walk. So you definitely had hits spread out, but the runs would not come in. A couple of walks in there as well. 2 walks as a team from Athletics. Prospects with the 4-0 win there on Sunday. We go to the next one as we have Avalanche and Ballistic. This was a really good game, 3-2 final score. Avalanche gets the win, and it was 2 runs in the 6th. They both scored 2. 1 run in the 7th, though, did it as Avalanche wins 3-2. We look at the RBI numbers for Avalanche. 3 for 4 a day for Nick Solderich, who also had an RBI and a run scored. You had an RBI from Owen Dye and also an RBI from Drew Galt, who, once again, very good at baseball. No shocker there. He was perfect at the plate 1 for 1 day. Avalanche pitching, though, was the story. Noah Philson, 7 innings pitched, no earned runs, 4 hits, 5 strikeouts. Ballistic, you'll look at their offense. They had 2 RBIs on the day. 1 from Hunter Wilson, who went 1 for 2, and 1 from Danny Pedersen, who went 2 for 3 with a run scored. They also had a hit from Tyler Wright, who went 1 for 3. And when you look at Ballistic pitching, who do not do too bad of a job. Cam Huff got 6 innings, gave up 3 earned runs, 9 hits, did strike out 6 though. Tyler Wright came in and pitched the last inning, gave up just 1 hit, no runs, no strikeouts, only used 12 pitches to get out of the final frame. Our pitcher of the year coming in relief. Next game on the slate is the one that was originally scheduled for Sunday. Astro Falcons bouncing back from their loss to Dura Edge in a makeup game. They get the win over Avalanche, 9-3, the final score here. 3 runs in the first for Astro, 3 runs in the third, 1 in the 5th, 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th. 9 runs, 13 hits, 3 errors for them. That means there's 7 total errors on the day. That's something that they got to clean up. But they did get the win because Avalanche got 3 runs on 7 hits, no errors. The RBIs on the day for the Astro Falcons in this one. McElroy gets 2 more on his tally, 2 for 3 on the day. 1 apiece from AJ Verdi and Ben Kern. You also had RBIs from Rowan Urbach and Jay Rona as well. Pitching the Astro Falcons to victory was Jake Polaro, who went 3 innings, gave up no earned runs on 2 hits, struck out 5. For the Avalanche hitters, they had an RBI from Carter DeJulio, who continued his strong weekend. 2 for 3 day for him with an RBI. Also an RBI from Owen Dye, who went 1 for 3 on the day. Jason Malley got the loss. He gave up 12 hits, 9 earned runs, struck out 3. We go on to the next one, and it is going to be Athletics getting the best of Ballistic in a high-scoring and close game, 10-9. Athletics get the win here. You see 3 runs for Athletics in the first, 2 in the second, 1 in the third. They were up 6-0. Ballistic on the comeback trail cuts the lead in half in the fourth with 3, gets 2 more in the 5th, but then Athletics answer with 4 in the bottom half of the 5th. Ballistic answers again with 4 in the 6th, but they could not tack on the game-tying run in the 7th, and they fall 10-9. So let's look at the Athletics hitters in this one. 3 RBI day from Evan Tice. Perfect at the plate on a 3-for-3 day. You had RBIs as well from Tyler Wardle. Jake Wallace had an RBI. You had RBI from Jake Shoemate and an RBI from Luke Gehring as well, who went 1-for-2. So a lot of RBI spread around for the Athletics batting order. Brendan Ray got the win on the mound. He went 5 innings, gave up the 5 earned runs on 11 hits, but also 7 strikeouts. For the ballistic offense, you had an RBI, 2 RBI day, I should say, from RJ Fisher, who went 2-for-4, and also a 2 RBI day from Hunter Wilson, who went 1-for-4. An RBI from Elijah Muckle. Excuse me. And then an RBI on the day from a perfect day at the plate, too. Ian Wong goes 2-for-2 with 2 runs scored and an RBI, so a good day for him. 1-for-3 day for Tyler Wright with an RBI, a walk, and a run scored. Wright also pitched 2/3 of an inning, didn't give up a run, only 1 hit, 1 strikeout. The loss went to Gabe Rusnak, who gave up 3 earned runs, not bad. On 4 1/3, 7 hits, 6 strikeouts, but you see 8 runs total. Only 3 of them earned. That means he was not helped out behind him in this particular day. Next on the list, the prospects get the 14-5 win over Eagleware. As you can see, the line right there, 14 runs, 13 hits, no errors for prospects. You had 5 runs on 4 hits, no errors for Eagleware. Prospects offense, 2 RBI day from Hunter Stacy, 2 RBI day from Grady Tarzola, who went 2-for-4 on the day. 2 RBIs as well from Reggie Danko, 2-for-4 with a run scored. Tarzola also pitched 5 innings, gave up just 1 earned run on 2 hits, struck out 6 for the prospects. A big win for them. 14-5 again, the final score. We go on to the Barons getting the 10-1 win over Creekside, running a little bit long, so we're just going to go over the score of this blowout. 10-1. There you go. There's a box score right there. 10 runs, 7 hits, 1 error for the Barons. 1 run on 7 hits, 4 errors for Creekside. You can see right there who got the hits for the Barons. I'll leave that up for a minute so you can see both offensive numbers there. 2 RBI day from Callan Durbin for the Barons. And then you see that Nick Parado pitched well. 6 innings pitched, 1 earned run, 7 hits, 5 strikeouts, no walks, and the Barons' big win, 10-1. We have one more game in 18U, and it is Dura Edge taking the win. 2 wins on a Sunday for Dura Edge. They blank Nightline by the final score of 8-0. Big 5-run fourth does the damage. 8 runs on 9 hits, 2 errors for Dura Edge. No runs, 5 hits, 2 errors for Nightline. You can see the offensive numbers right there in front of you. 2 RBI on 2 hits from Nathan McGanahan. 2 RBIs on a 1-hit day for Parker Dobson. 1-for-1 with 2 walks. He was never retired on the day. And Andrew Porto, who had a good weekend, 1-for-2 with an RBI and a run scored. Jacob Rinn got the win on the mound, 6 innings pitched. Gave up no earned runs on 5 hits, struck out 5. And that does it for the Sunday on 18U. We are all caught up on the finals. Let's take a look at the standings page. As we see, the Barons get a little bit of cushion over the Astros with their loss to Dura Edge. They are now a game and a half up, 22-3, the 3B Barons. once again, I'd have to do some research, but I think if the Barons can hold on, this would be the first time that I can remember since Ysn started covering Class B baseball that the Astro Falcons did not win the regular season in 18U. I could be wrong. Everything kind of meshes together after a while, but it just feels like the Astro Falcons have been so dominant, and they still are. I mean, 20-4 is a really, really good record. But the Barons, just a couple of more wins away from wrapping up the regular season championship. Athletics, a solid 17-9. They're 5.5 games back. Dura Edge with a big Sunday. They're 15-10 now. 13-12 for Creekside. 13-13 for Avalanche. Ballistic is 13-16, 10-16. Prospects are 10-16. Nightline is 6-18, and then Eagleware 0-25 on the year. Those are the standings pages for 18U, and we look at the game schedule. They will be back in action tonight with 5 more, and I believe these are all makeup games for 18U. No, they're not. I'm wrong. They're all regularly scheduled games. 3B Barons against Eagleware, Prospects and Nightline, Ballistic and Creekside, Athletics and Astros should be a really good game. Athletics with 17 wins on the year. That'll be on Scene 1, and then Dura Edge taking on Avalanche. The nightcap on Scene 3. Scene 1 will feature Ballistic and Creekside at 5:30, Astro and Athletics at 8 o'clock. When we look at the spreadsheet for tonight, we'll see who's got to cover on Class B baseball. And they should have Matt Marr on the call tonight for Scene 1 at least. So check out ysnlive.com/live for Class B baseball coverage tonight. We do have to recap 16U. We're going to do this real quick and then take a commercial break. Over the weekend, 16U had some games, especially the 5 on Sunday. So we're going to go right to... All right, there we go. Sunday. 8 games on Saturday, too. Here are the final scores for your Saturday games. Prospects fall to Athletics 10-9. Creekside beats Avalanche 6-1. Avalanche beats A-Z 9-4. We have Creekside beating Nightline 16-11. Astro Falcons fall to the Prospects 8-5. That's a big win for Prospects. Eagleware gets to win over Ballistic 4-2. The Barons get the win over Athletics 14-8. And Ballistic falls to the 3B Barons 4-3 on Saturday. We go to Sunday. And we see that Avalanche beat Nightline 7-5. We have Eagleware with the win over Creekside. So 2 wins over the weekend for Eagleware. 9-8 the final score. Prospects get the win 11-2 over Ballistic. Athletics get the win 14-4 over A-Z Athletics. Astro Falcons get the win 6-4 over the 3B Barons. 16U will be back in action tomorrow with a couple of makeup games on Tuesday. Let's look at their standings after a long weekend of games. We have Avalanche still out in front. They are 2 games up on the Astro Falcons with a 19-3 record. Astro Falcons 17-5. Creekside sitting in there at 14-8. 3B Barons are 13-9. We have Athletics at 13-9 as well. Prospects at 13-9. Nightline at 7-15. Ballistic at 7-15. Eagleware at 5-17. And A-Z Athletics 2-20. I do want to go look at those games and see what's being played on Tuesday. It could have bearings on the standings. 2 games on Tuesday, 2 games on Wednesday. Looks like 2 games on Friday as well for 16U. 2 games on Tuesday will be Athletics against Prospects and the Barons against Creekside. Oh, I'm sorry. These are actually they're actually made up in 16U. I apologize for that oversight. Tuesday starts the playoffs. So 1-game playoff between the 4 and 5 seed and the 3 and 6 seed. It's 1-game winner take all. Athletics versus Prospects, Barons versus Creekside. On Wednesday, we will see the game 1 of the series of those winners against the Astro Falcons and Avalanche. So winners on Tuesday will go on to Wednesday to start the series against the number 1 and number 2 seeds of Class B is 16U. So a very exciting week of Class B baseball with playoffs starting in 16U and some makeup games going on in 18U. Going to be a fun time. Make sure to tune into all the Class B action, ysnlive.com/live. We have much more to talk about when we get back after this commercial break. This is Running Point, brought to you by Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown.
21 News delivers the news as it happens, using the latest technology from where it happens.
Live here outside the Mahoney County.
On air, online,
Wednesday afternoon weather update.
Very dangerous.
and on the 21 News social media platforms.
I'm on the road right now.
21 News, the Valley's only locally owned source for trusted news since 1953.
Craftsmanship to us is 60 years of pride and dedication.
Passed down from generation to generation.
The hardwood floors that your kids take their first steps on.
The solid wood doors you quietly close at night.
The things we create day in and day out are the products that end up turning your house into a home.
At Baird Brothers Fine Hardwoods, uncompromising quality and craftsmanship built our business.
And it will keep us moving forward for generations to come.
Going the extra mile at Greenwood Chevrolet means we want to take care of the community that takes care of us too.
And we have to work together always. And that's how you stay in business for 40 years.
You know, I love being a helper because when I help somebody, it makes me feel good.
It means a lot that I can make a difference in others' lives.
So I will do everything I can and just being there for them every step of the way.
I want them to know within the first 5 minutes that they could depend on me. That's what going the extra mile means, only at Greenwood Chevrolet.
Before the lights come on, before the workday begins, before a long day is ended, or it's time to have fun. It all starts with the people at Joe Dickey Electric. From replacing a light fixture in your home to building a substation for your business, no job is too big or too small. The people of Joe Dickey Electric power them all. Joe Dickey Electric, over 60 years of powering the Mahoning Valley.
Welcome back to Running Point on ysnlive.com, brought to you by our good friends over at Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown, top right-hand corner of the screen right there. You can see them. Man, what a great weekend it has been. We haven't seen you since Thursday. I want to talk a little bit about the softball all-star game that went down. We've had baseball, we've had softball. We have officially put a bow on high school sports for 2024. And 2023, I should say. The season is done for high school sports. We are now just kind of taking give us like 5 days breath, and then we'll start putting a mindset on the football season and fall sports as well. You can expect probably the start of the previews, the Coaches Corner season previews. Probably, I would say, starting of August. That's usually when volleyball has their tryouts, the first week of August or so. Same thing with football. We don't want to get them until they're done with the grueling July of football. So probably the first, couple of days of August, maybe the end of July, but probably more towards the start of August when we start to have our fall sports season previews, coaches corners. We have a couple of new coaches in the realm for both football and volleyball. So we're going to be talking to new coaches, old familiar faces as well. That's all coming up in the next month or so. So don't miss that out. The high school season is not done for long. It's not like NFL where you have to wait from February all the way into September for games to start back up. We are not far away from the start of fall sports coverage, getting right back up to where it's at. But since we do have about like a month or so of no high school sports, it opens me up to be a little bit more creative on what I talk about on this show and fill content that way. That's why we've had a couple of players from the Infinity 17s team. We're going to have another one featured today if we have time. If not, we'll just push it to tomorrow. But I had a chance to talk with the one player in the roster that's not a YSN representative. Had a chance to meet her and talk with her and about her volleyball career and her journey, and it was fun. Miss Leigh Williams from Massillon Jackson, and also on that 17th Infinity team. So you'll be hearing from her in the next either in the next couple of minutes. I don't know how long I'm going to talk, or tomorrow. I am not good at organizing myself in these rants or these talks that I have when I get to talk to myself a little bit on camera. That's why I try to structure this show as much as possible with recaps and interviews, because once I kind of start babbling, you'll really lose track of time pretty easily. But there are some things that I want to talk about. And the first one is the softball All-Star game. We put a lot of time and effort, like every year, to make sure that game goes off without a hitch. And I feel like, again, we had a successful All-Star game. Everything went smooth. The umpires showed up, which is great. The lights were on, which is great. And YSU was very accommodating. YSU always great partners with them for these softball All-Star games. That is the 4th year in a row we've been at YSU. I should say 4 and 5 years because COVID year was off. So we've had it in 19, 21, 22, 23 now. Wait, no, I get that wrong. 21, 22, 23, 24. So it is 4 straight years that we've had the softball All-Star game, and we're so proud to be a part of it. Again, when I watched this game, and I was broadcasting it, and the broadcast was really a hodgepodge of interviews and a little bit of game action, but we wanted to get the players some limelight as well. So we had plenty of interviews on that All-Star broadcast. But when I'm watching this game and I'm watching it unfold, every year this All-Star game for softball, I think the players have a really good time. I think they enjoy being out there. So I don't want to knock any of the other All-Star games we've had, because whether it was the one that I was in the dugout for, that I can say for sure everyone had a fun time, at least on my side, or the ones, the two after that are leading up to this one, I know the girls had a fun time. I know they were having fun, and those games were pretty competitive. This game, maybe because it got a little bit out of hand score wise, but it was the most outward fun I've seen the softball players have for an All-Star game. Because usually I had that conversation like, man, it's really hard to let them just let loose and just have a little fun out there because they're so competitive and they want to win so bad. And maybe when the game took a turn uncompetitive, maybe there's something clicked in them where they're like, we can just go have fun. And that's what was awesome to see in this All-Star game, because we saw girls, like 20 girls out in the outfield with lightsabers, just swinging them around, having fun. Coach Kelm with a great idea to bring those plastic, toy lightsabers for the dugouts. They had fun with that. We saw players from Coach Ward's team go over and take some lightsabers and bring them back to their dugout, and we saw in-game selfies. I think they just took the lead from what we saw from baseball, especially the last 2 years. I mean, 2 years ago, we had players going live on Instagram in the dugout for baseball, and this year got even more silly in the baseball game. I think softball players started to see that and said, wait, we can do this. Like we can go out there and take selfies in the circle. We can go out there and just have some fun and just take some stress out of all the summer softball away. Summer softball is stressful. And I'm a coach in it. I get it. Travel softball, you're going away from home. Everyone's focused on trying to get recruited, trying to get better, trying to get on people's radar. There are those goals for summer that get a little stressful. High school, a little bit, but everyone's working for a state championship. Yes, it gets stressful to an extent, but for different reasons. And I think there's more individual stress in the summer for softball. So to see these girls from all different, skill levels, you have girls that are going on to play in national tournaments this weekend, big college showcases, and then you have girls that are playing in local tournaments. But no matter what, we saw them all just let loose a little bit, and that's what was fun. That was really fun to see. And there were still really good softball moments and really good all-star moments that I like to see. I've talked about it with Scotty before. I've said my favorite part of these all-star games are when players that don't get a lot of publicity or don't get talked about a lot because of maybe they don't play on the best team or they're not getting the best records, whatever it may be, come up and prove that they're all-stars, they belong on the field. And we saw one of those moments like Taylor Foster from East Palestine come up with 2 outs and 2 on. She's down in the count, 2 strikes, and she gets an RBI, 2 RBI base hit. Moments like that, that's what I live for. Someone from East Palestine showing that, yes, I belong on this field and I'm going to put my stamp on this game. That was cool. West Branch girls, Josie Milliken was the MVP last year, and both Addie Craven and Josie Milliken came to play again. They both had back-to-back triples. They were next to each other in the lineup. That was all fun to watch. This All-Star game just went really well. We had perfect weather, by the way. We made the absolute right decision. We felt good about that decision to push it from Wednesday to Thursday. We felt kind of stressed about it Monday and Tuesday. We're like, okay, this storm better actually come on Wednesday. It better not get pushed to Thursday. Me and DJ and everyone in the executive staff, but me especially, was going to be really not happy with Mother Nature if that storm got pushed to Thursday somehow. But you look at the weather we had on Thursday, it was just beautiful. It wasn't too hot. It was like 75, 77, and sunny. Just a beautiful day for softball. We got treated by Mother Nature. And what a great game it was. And want to take the time to thank Coach Ward and Coach Kelm for volunteering their time to make that experience as good as it was for the girls. We know that there needs to be, coaches there to bring a little bit of structure to the dugout a little bit and do the organization of that game and make sure that the experience is as good as possible. So we want to thank Coach Ward and Coach Kelm, Coach of the Year for Coach Kelm at YSN, and the 2-time state champion from Austin Town Fitch and Steve Ward. They both volunteered their time, put in the couple of time before the game to organize the lineups and the matrix, as Coach Ward likes to call it, on who's going to get in when and what innings they're going to have. So I want to thank them for their time. I want to thank the umpires that we had at YSU for coming on and volunteering their time as well. In YSN umpiring gear, grade A right there. And I want to give a special thanks to you again to YSU and their facilities crew that did a really good job accommodating everything that we could ask for and having everything there that we could have needed to have that all-star game go off without a hitch. And then lastly, thank you to everyone that came out. We raised a lot of money from between baseball and softball for the NYAP. So that wouldn't have been done without the community and the fans that came out and supported these boys and girls for their particular sport. So we thank you for coming out and enjoying a good time at the softball all-star game. And I'm already itching for next season. I'm just sitting there okay, when softball start up back up? I'm a softball junkie. I am. I came home from Thursday and I watched professional softball. And then I coached softball all weekend. And now I'm broadcasting softball tonight. So you can't keep me from a softball field, ladies and gentlemen, which is a nice segue into saying that tonight on YSN Field of Dreams, we will have the District 2 Little League Championships, 10U and 12U softball, Austintown 10U versus Canfield 10U, and Austintown 12U versus Canfield 12U. Is anyone surprised that the 2 state champions in high school also have the 2 teams fighting for a championship in the younger levels? I mean, that's what it's all about. You have to build these programs from the bottom up. You don't just pick these teams from a tree and just say, here you go. And Austintown and Canfield both have tremendous youth programs. And we saw what Austintown 12U was able to do last year, making that big run. And now here they are again trying to do it. Mila Hamley has not given up a single hit in her tournament so far. She has, I think, 18 plus 16, if I remember right. Doing the math real quick, that's what, 34? 30, did I do that right? 34? Yeah, 34. 34 strikeouts in 2 games. It's just ridiculous. Just 2 walks combined. So just 1 walk away in each game from a perfect game. No hitters in both games. Hasn't given up a hit yet. If we thought Mila Hamley was impressive last year, I think she's raised up her game even more this year. We're going to see her one last time on this district level before she kind of goes off to even bigger levels, getting ready for high school eventually very soon. So one last hurrah for Mila Hamley in the 12U division of Little League Softball. Can't wait to see her have her quote-unquote swan song at the Field of Dreams. The winner will go on for 12U to play in the state tournament here at McCoon Park in Canfield. We are going to be the hosts of not just a district, but the state tournament. The 12U is going to be on next weekend. So July 11th through the 15th are when these softball state tournaments are as well. So McCoon Park on July 11th through the 15th for 12U softball as well. But tonight, it's all tonight. If Austintown wins both games, that's it. They're done. If Canfield comes out and gets a win, then we will play one more game tomorrow, the if necessary game as well. So 6 o'clock for 10U, 8 o'clock for 12U. Can't wait for that either. Make sure to check it out. ysnlive.com/live is where you can find that. And we don't have, unfortunately, enough time for the interview today, so we're going to push that to tomorrow. But we do have enough time for one more kind of subject that I kind of wanted to talk about just because it was in my mind. It's one of those things that I was thinking about all weekend, and it has no bearing on local sports. It's a national kind of thing. But we have like, 5 more minutes of the show. So I am, if you guys don't know, because we don't talk about this sport a lot on YSN, because I don't believe we have any schools that have this sport as an affiliate, but I am a big gymnastics fan. I watch it not just in the Olympics every 4 years, but I watch the U.S. championships. Back when I was in high school, no shame, had a big crush on a gymnast, and dove headfirst into the gymnastics world, and really do love the sport, really do love watching it. And when I look at what's happening in USA Gymnastics and what Simone Biles is doing right now, I know there's a lot of controversy in Tokyo with what went down and how everything that went down with her in Tokyo. But, I'm watching these Olympic trials, and for a minute, I forget how old she is. And they say, 27. And I'm going, like, this is ridiculously, completely unheard of in the gymnastics world, especially women's gymnastics, to have a 27-year-old still be at this Olympic level. Like, she is doing stuff that still nobody else can do, especially on the floor exercise. It's unreal. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself how unreal it is. And how when I watched gymnastics in high school and I started to dive into the gymnastics world, one of the first things you'll learn is women's gymnastics, these girls usually peak in the gymnastics level at 16 and 18. That's why it was so rare for anyone to even do 2 Olympics, let alone what's this? This is Simone Biles' 4th. So very ultra rare to see what we're seeing. But then I started to think about the reasons why we're seeing even Sun Yu Lee have her 2nd straight Olympics. We're starting to see these athletes be able to not just do 1 but 2, and now Simone Biles doing 4. And I was trying to think, like, why is that? Why are we? And then it clicked, like, do we know how sketchy USA Gymnastics used to be back in 2008 and 2012, those years where it was very, you had 1 Olympics pretty much, and if you got to a second one, you weren't going to be an all-around champion. You were going to be like a member that came on to be their uneven bars in the all-around or something like that. Alicia Sacramone back in 2008 was making her 2nd. Carly Patterson had 2, but the first one was always the one where you were competing for all-around competition, and then the next one, like, even if you were there, you were maybe a you were a alternate or you were someone that was there for a specialty. Very rare, very rare. But like the USA Gymnastics was kind of sketchy, and it goes way beyond the horrible Larry Nasser, storyline. Like the coaches and the especially the heads up of USA Gymnastics, the way they would push and push past limits. You start to wonder if those girls that were led by that executive branch of USA Gymnastics, if they could have had multiple Olympics, if they if they were taken care of a lot better than they were. Now we're starting to see that be mended, and all of a sudden athletes are starting to get into 2 Olympics. Simone Biles, I don't think anyone would have gotten to 4 even if we were taking care of our athletes the right way that we should have been. But we know that athletes all around every sport are getting bigger, faster, stronger. That is well documented in every sport. But I do wonder how many gymnasts back in 2008, 2004, 2012 were kind of robbed of even an opportunity to try to push for a elongated career by how poorly they were kind of handled and taken care of. And once again, it goes beyond just the Larry Nasser situation. Obviously, that was just ridiculously bad. But there were just many more the culture of that USA Gymnastics and the pushing past injuries and things that just weren't right that go way beyond Larry Nasser. You start to wonder if that played a part in the fact that there was pretty much you peaked at 16 and that was it. And we were all sold on this idea as fans that it was all physiological. Like you have to have a certain body type for gymnastics, and once you get past 18 as a woman, you kind of lose that ability to keep in that kind of shape. And because of how much we were told they practice and how hard they kind of push themselves to get in gymnastics and get to that level, we kind of just said, okay, I guess, when you turn 18 or turn 20, it starts to become harder and harder to be a gymnast. And now we're starting to prove that wrong a little bit. And you start to kind of reflect on, was that the truth? Is that the truth? I don't know how much harder it is for gymnasts to be at that level at the age of, say 20, 21, 22, Simone Biles at 27. We're starting to see like you watch her routine in the U.S. trials over the weekend. There's starting to be a little bit of cracks here and there. You can start to see she's not peak anymore. She's not at the zenith of her gymnastics ability, but she was still number one on that U.S. trials competition. So her not at her best is still better than everybody else right now in the U.S. It's remarkable. It might be one of the most impressive athletes and feats of an athlete that I've ever seen based on what I know from gymnastics, which is it's very rare to have two Olympics is very rare. So, here we are at her at 27, still doing it better than anybody else in the world. That's just not done. It's one of those outlier, freak of nature kind of athletic ability things that you start to see. And whether you like what happened in 2020 or you're kind of turned off by what happened in 2020, I think you got to be able to realize like we're seeing something that has never been done before in this sport, and which is one of the hardest sports to play, to excel in. The things that they are able to do, not very many human beings can do, right? So it's very, very physically grueling to be a gymnast, and to be able to do it at the age of 27 at the top of the world. It's remarkable. So I was watching the U.S. trials this weekend, just going, I can't believe we're watching this right now. I can't believe we have a 27-year-old that we were told impossible. When I dove into gymnastics, I was told impossible. There's no way a 27-year-old could be in the Olympics and excel. And now here we are, a 27-year-old, not too far off. 2008 was the first one that I really locked in on. So what is that? 16 years later, we have a 27-year-old that has a good chance of winning the all-around gold medal in the Olympics. It's ridiculous. It's something. It's something. Watch and be amazed, and take time to just take in greatness. You know, we as a sports culture, we said this with all the sports. We hear it a lot now in the national media about, you know, the quarterbacks that we've had in the last 10 years, or we say it with, you know, baseball players or even basketball players that we've had in the last 10, 20 years. We start to become a little bit numb to greatness, and let's not do this summer for the Olympics. Let's not become numb to greatness. Let's start to appreciate that we are in a era right now that we've never seen before, and we might not never see again. It's going to be fun. That's my show. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Running Point brought to you by our good friends right there, Greenwood Chevrolet in Austintown. We'll be back tomorrow from 1 to 2. Reminder, tune in tonight, 6 o'clock for 10U softball district championships, 8 o'clock for 12U softball district championships. Both of them, Austintown in the winner's bracket versus Canfield coming out of the loser's bracket. Austintown wins. That is it. They are done. They are the champions. If Canfield wins either game, we'll be back